What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of For Dummies, and tonight I am joined with the other three dummies. I have Mr. Robert Detoff.
Yo, what's happening?
Mr. Jisquan.
Yo, what's happening?
And Mrs. Skullface.
Yo, what's happening?
Oh, I like that. That's what I like to call a new twist on an old classic. Tonight we are going to be talking about our year-end wrap-up. Purchases, regrets, things that we're super happy with, whatever the case may be. But if you want the uncut version of this, where we talk about things that we couldn't talk about in a different uncut version, then feel free to join the Patreon at the $5 level, where you can get this as well as many more pieces of content to keep you warm in this holiday season. With that being said,
real fast, you do want that. You do want this uncut.
Yeah, this is
a good one.
Yeah, and if I could take a minute, and I'm not trying to like pimp it or whatever, but like if there was one to check out, it's episode Collection Critique 43 Uncut, where we really rip into some of those collections in a way that I wasn't comfortable putting them on the public channel. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. So, like, any regrets?
Oh, please.
Shoot. Yeah, I guess we could start there.
For Robert, all of the things he shipped to you.
Yeah, well, he regretted shipping them to me. He didn't regret buying them.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my biggest regret was for the year, but I have learned from it. And my biggest regret is Fans Toys Blaster. And the reason why it's my biggest regret is because I know that I didn't really want it.
And he is not letting this one go.
I knew it. I knew it when I saw it. And I went through with it because you're supposed to buy all the Fans Toys. If you don't, they're going to be $800 on eBay, and then you're going to be out of luck. And I bought it. And I wasn't satisfied with it. And I kept it for a couple months, and I got rid of it. But I'll tell you, it wasn't the piece that kept me buying it. It was the fear of having to buy it a second time that kept me not only buying it, but keeping it in my collection. And it wasn't until I came to terms with that I kind of found some sort of peace regarding it. Because even when I sold it, I kept going back to it. Like, why do I keep going back to this in my mind? And I think it's largely because I kept thinking to myself, man, what if I decide one day I want this and it's $800 on the secondary market? And those days may be over. But,
I think they are.
But be that as it may, moving forward, and it's going to adjust how I move with Sound Blaster. It's going to adjust how I move with their Constructicons. It has taught me a lesson that, like, if I know I don't want it, then don't buy it. And remove the label or the branding from it. Had Takara put out that blaster, I would have never bought it in a million years. Not in a million years. But because Fans Toys made it, I bought it. And as soon as I bought it, it felt empty to me. That's not to say what it felt to somebody else. It's just what it felt to me.
I just like that you learn. Like, the greatest thing about that is, like, just it's sometimes worth what you learn, because now you know, like, all right, I don't need every Fans Toys. I'm okay. Like, life's gonna go on if I don't have it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like the process.
That's good to know.
It's like trust. It's like, you know, it's trusting your own instincts of whether or not you actually like something. And what's crazy is getting wrapped up to a point where I made a decision of like, look, I'm going to buy something. Take Fans Toys out of it, because I know Fans Toys creates like a division within the fandom. I know people are listening to this right now getting all sorts of emotionally compromised, but take Fans Toys out of it. Let's call it Bubblegum Blaster. If Bubblegum Blaster is getting released and I look at it and I'm like, I don't like the way this looks, then why should I buy it?
Right.
You know, that's what I learned from it. You know, Robert, I'm sure you have a ton of regret out there.
Oh, yes, actually. My biggest regrets are the RoboSen Prime Rise of the Beast, because I bought it drunk and I didn't realize it. The reason it's my biggest regret, right? The reason that's my biggest regret is because I had bought the RoboSen B, and that's on the regret list as well. And I realized I hate Super Tune.
A lot of RoboSen regret.
Yeah, but the RoboSen B, I don't know why I bought it, because I mean I was on the hype train, but I know I hate Super Tune, hate it, and I knew it didn't transform. Bought it anyway, and it was dumber than it was dumber than I even thought it was going to be. And then I swore off non-transforming RoboSen figures, and then lo and behold, I got a RoboSen Prime Rise of the Beast after that, and it was even twice the money the B was. And
I have to ask, do you regret buying the Dreamstar Silverbolt at all?
Oh, he's on the list. That's the next one. Is I regret the Dreamstar Silverbolt.
He bought two.
Well, on my list here, I have a giant X2 next to the name. I doubly regret buying Dreamstar Silverbolt. I'm out on the set. I'm not buying any more of them.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Like this is your step. The same way that blaster was my step, this is your step, I feel like.
Yeah. Based on the first release, I was intrigued. Aesthetically, it looked like it would display well the Kang toys. And the first one was promising. The second one was kind of weird. And then Silverbolt was like down the toilet bed. So I'm done with them. You know, I'm disappointed and also relieved. Right. It popped that cherry for me where I can say, it's all right. I don't have to get it. You know? Yeah. It feels good to say that.
Dude, there's a lot of that going on this year.
I agree.
There's one more on the list that might be a little bit of a surprise to you guys. I regret buying anything Iron Factory.
Talk about it.
I think I'm done with them as well. I don't like their aesthetic anymore, and I don't like how most of the stuff is built. So why am I buying it? You know?
See, I'm hot and cold on it. Like I didn't like that lockdown mold and anything related to it, but I do like the Ironhide Ratchet molds, the Grimlock. Like I do the Inferno. Like I like that mold. Like I do like, I think, more than I don't like.
But I mean, can you really just have like 3 samurai molds and then a bunch of old IDW?
So that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I think. I think like at the time when they were first coming out, it was cool. But now that you have so much competition, it's like, now you realize like, oh, I guess they're really not making. They haven't advanced. They're not making that great of stuff.
And they switched.
They stopped IDW.
They stopped IDW, and then they kind of, if you think about it, they kind of transitioned as IDW started to cool down. They transitioned into like their own take Cybertronian molds, right?
Right.
But now they've abandoned all of that under the flag of IDW and just gone for this samurai stuff, and I don't think it has the same charm unless they nail it like Grimlock.
These things are so spindly and garbage, like really ball joints that don't fit well into the ball sockets where they're too loose. They fall out of the sockets on super tight transformation joints. So if you're trying to move a shoulder on a ball joint and it's on a super tight armature, all you're doing is ripping the shoulder off the ball joint. Yes, so that's my regrets. Anything Iron Factory, and I think I'm done with them.
Jisk, as far as getting back in the game, anything that you're regretting?
So I don't have one specific like purchase that's a regret. Partway through the year, I've made a change where it's like, man, I'm just buying things to me that look cool, regardless of what they're from. And so I regret not doing that sooner because I found myself once I got back in going down the same route. Like, well, maybe I'll get doubles of some stuff. There's still some things that I like. And so I bought some purchases before I made the transition. And that's my biggest regret, is not just following like, I'm going to get all fan toy stuff and then I'm going to, and then letting go of that. So my regret is that I didn't let go of that earlier and just start buying cooler stuff.
I'll tell you that Blitzway Boss Borbot or whatever it is.
Right. It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Dude.
I have no idea anything about it, but it's charming. Right. It has a ton of personality. It's extremely well made.
Well, dude, it's stupid as shit, but the thing that made me buy it was I saw a picture of it with that wicker basket and the missiles in it. And I was like, there's something cool about that. I'm gonna pick it up just for that. My biggest regret is just not like being so rigid. That's my biggest regret, and not just being like, you know what, I don't need to hold on to all this stuff, and I can do it however I want to do it, even if it makes zero sense.
It's a good point, man. Like we do put rules on ourselves regarding this shit. I think that Fans Toys Blaster was a rule I imposed upon myself.
Right? Yeah. No. 100%.
It's interesting. What about like any surprises? Did you have any surprises this year, Robert?
Flame Toys Jazz. I think with everything else flying around, I haven't had a Flame Toys figure in a while, and that was an amazing surprise. Like I took that out of the box and I was floored. Dude, it brought me back. And I was like, wow.
When they get it, they get it all the way.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it too, though. That's another thing.
So I have a surprise for myself, for my personal collection. It's not necessarily generated towards a piece, but more towards a line. My Hot Toys line, collection-wise, has declined probably 85% over this year.
I agree.
What do you mean by decline?
As in purchasing it, or you've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff?
Yeah,
It's been very few pieces that I've gotten this year. But whatever it's been very limited, which means that like whatever model they have adapted, which is kind of, in my opinion, the Hasbro model of Iron Man, Clone Trooper, Mandalorian, rinse, repeat, that model isn't working for me. So I'm out. Not on the line, but I'm out on the approach. So I'm not going to just buy whatever you have to shovel out.
It's nice. It feels so good just to be like relieved of like this burden of like having to do something.
Yeah, keep up. The pieces that I've gotten from Hot Toys have been great, but I have not been happy with what they've had to offer. I think the only things that I've pre-ordered this year are the Anakin and Padme. I think they maybe did a Mace Windu. If they did, I pre-ordered that. And then they are re-releasing an updated 89 Batman, and I got in on that. And that's it. And I'm not knocking them for it. It's not an attack on Hot Toys. It's just what I'm surprised about is how few Hot Toys I bought this year.
Right.
Was there anything that surprised you?
So that that mech Leonardo, it shouldn't work.
No, but it does.
It does.
That's a fantastic piece.
And it's like, just like even that, one of those things, I think that's what started it. Is I saw that. And I remember I told you guys, look, I know it's stupid, but I pre-ordered this. There's something about these things, man, that's going to be dope as the set. It's my favorite thing that I purchased this year.
Yeah. So I'll transition. What have you been most happy with this year?
Oh, hands down, the best thing I got all year is Robosend Grimlock. I think that is one of the best, if not the best thing I've ever purchased.
I think that's fair.
He was cool.
Yeah.
He was cool. Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
What I love so much about the Robosend Grimlock isn't just the transformation, the mechanics of it, and the voice acting, but they brought it all together. And the way he moves with what he's saying and how he's saying it, they really, really capture this dangerous goofball.
I agree. And I'll tell you, when I was messing with it here, I kept catching myself laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like I'm laughing because it's my childhood alive.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm laughing in a way that's very different. I'm giddy. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like seeing something that you saw on a screen and imagined in your hands and played out on the carpet, and now it's doing it on its own right in front of your eyes, and you can reach out and touch it, and that's a one of a kind experience.
Better than their prime, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So let me tell you what I'm been most happy with this year, purchases wise, and it's not
Dreamstar.
It's not any one piece. It's once again, it's a line. It's Iron Studios.
What was that?
They're these 1/8 statues. They cover a wide expanse of franchises, from movies to comics to video games, what have you. They fit on a bookshelf perfectly. They add a ton of flavor. They're beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted, super accessible. You can put your hands on them. It's not like a quarter scale statue where it's kind of like, all right, keep the kids 10 feet away. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like the days of the Kotobukiya statues or the DC Collectible statues, but elevated to the next level of paint, detail, and sophistication.
That's cool.
Yeah. There hasn't been an Iron Studio statue that I've bought this year that I have not been over the wall with. Like they just nail it, and they nail it every time consistently at not necessarily the best price, but an understandable, consumable price. So they're my MVP for the year.
And not one specifically, just you're in this
the whole line.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I have yet to buy a bad one.
Right. Yeah.
I want the silver and gold, dude.
The no regrets tattoo.